Hey there, I appreciate the question. Well, there are usually one of two answers people seek on that one, the one that feels good and the one that is accurate. And yes, as someone who has dedicated his life to studying the science of leadership, I have examined most major frameworks along with their strengths and limitations. In fact, I have written extensively about this one. Since it's you, I'll give you both answers. The feel-good answer is that it is definitely built to make people feel empowered. And of course, it would be awesome if that's what leadership could be. I definitely love the idealism of it all. However, if you want results, we need something else. In my practice, I spend an unfortunate amount of time trying to repair the damage caused by what servant leadership has done, such as personal and organizational fragility. Proponents of the approach don't like me saying that, but it's true. This is to say that servant leadership is simply not the best approach for those seeking ideal outcomes. For example, in environments where structure and protocols are essential, where time is critical, and where authority cannot be distributed, it is simply not a viable option. That alone eliminates a significant portion of industries and situations from consideration. Interestingly, that is well documented but often ignored. Moreover, there are also known theoretical gaps that have yet to be resolved. Servant leadership scholars have not reached consensus on its core dimensions, its defining processes, or even a universal definition of the approach. They are really sort of winging it. To me, that is a significant problem for anyone seeking measurable, replicable results from a leadership framework. Why leave your outcomes to chance? Compounding this is that many of the loudest advocates for servant leadership are not actually leadership researchers or leadership science professionals. They are management practitioners, which partly explains why the definitional and validity problems persist. Management is not leadership. We need to know the difference if we want to be the difference. Good intentions do not substitute for theoretical rigor. More critically, several of its core tenets actually produce predictable organizational problems: stagnation, diffusion of accountability, and structural confusion. In fact, some of its tenets, if you know your history, bear a striking resemblance to recommendations found in the OSS Simple Sabotage Field Manual, which was designed to destroy organizations and nations. Two quick examples. The OSS manual advises referring all matters to large committees and never permitting shortcuts in decision-making. Servant leadership's emphasis on consensus and shared authority produces exactly that structure under leaders who interpret serving as never making a unilateral call. The manual also recommends encouraging lengthy deliberation over action. Servant leadership's prioritization of relational investment and follower check-ins before task execution mirrors this almost procedurally. The outcomes can be functionally identical regardless of intent. Not good. I could go on, but you probably get it. Anyway, I would agree that servant leadership sounds appealing on the surface, but in practice, it typically underperforms and can actually hinder progress in many instances. That's why so many who have actually studied leadership as a science avoid it. Thankfully, there are far more defensible frameworks available for those serious about developing leadership capacity and producing results. In fact, as a deist, you might like reasoned leadership. Its core framework of reason above all else is closely aligned. Hope this helps.